And our number one moment for 25 years of Sportscover was Australia being propelled into the 2006 World Cup off the boot of John Aloisi, and he's here tonight. Welcome, John. There you go. You can go there in the middle if you like, John.
Thanks a lot.
Hey, I just had a look at you, looking at yourself on the screen and all, and you've probably looked at it plenty of times over the last 5 years, but still enjoy looking at it every time it comes up?
Actually embarrassed taking off my top now, so if I knew I was going to do that, I would have worked on my body a little bit more.
Well, that's one of the first questions. What happened to the top? Have you still got it, or did you throw it in the creek?
No, I've still got it. I actually did change it with a guy who I played with in Spain. He was playing for Uruguay that night, but I realised what I did after the game and I got it back off him quickly, so I've still got it.
It should be donated to the National Sports Museum here at the MCG. It'd be a fantastic addition to their rich collection. Now, what about that? What goes through a person's mind when they're standing there with the ball and they can put it into the net and put Australia into the World Cup for the first time in 32 years? Just tell us what was going through your mind, John Aloisi.
Luckily, not a lot, because I think if I was thinking about it too much, I would have felt the pressure. But it was a funny feeling because I'd always dreamt of as a kid that I was going to play in the World Cup, and through my playing days as a junior, I always used to say that I was going to play and score a goal at a World Cup, and we always seem to miss out. So to believe that as a kid, I don't know why, but I felt it was going to happen. And when it was my turn to step up, I was going, this is it. You're going to send Australia to the World Cup. Just, do what you've been doing in training, because I've been practicing penalties for 15 odd years, and went down to that moment and I knew that it was going to go in. Right.
Now, you mightn't have been thinking much at that stage when you kicked it, but what about when an earlier one, like when Mark Viduka's missed? What were you thinking about at that stage?
Well, we did practice penalties the day before, and Mark Viduka took one, and he missed exactly the same as he did the day before too. So,
well, you play as you practice.
So we were a little bit nervous once he missed that, but when Schwarzer saved the next one, the confidence was straight back. We knew that we were going to win it because Schwarzer was amazing that night.
Well, he stopped two, didn't he, during the penalty shootout?
Yeah, well, I don't think a lot of people know this, but just before the end of the game, because we practiced penalties, like I said, the day before, Schwarzer was practicing with Kalatz, our second choice keeper, and he was saving more Kalatz. So Hiddink was thinking about putting Kalatz in, and he warmed him up, but Emerton ended up getting cramp 5 minutes to go, so he had to change him, and that was our last sub. So it could have been completely different. It could have been Kalatz in goals instead of Schwarzer.
Okay, all right. And anyway, Mark was there, and what a fantastic performance it was. Now, when it did go in, and you weren't thinking much, you said, but it went in, you knew you were going to kick it. That was obviously just entirely instinctive, spontaneous reaction when you just took off and ripped the shirt off and all that sort of stuff. You didn't think about going and embracing your teammates, you just gave them the flick and off you went.
No, where we ended up running to was where our families were. We knew exactly where our families were sitting, so that's why the 200-metre run down the other side of the pitch. It wasn't that I was running away from my teammates. It was just to get there and celebrate with the families. The taking off the shirt, I think that was just years of that. I remember back here in '97 against Iran. I think if anyone watched that night, they'll remember the heartache. Being 2-0 up and ended up drawing the game 2-2 in the last 15 minutes, getting knocked out. I was, involved in that squad, and then the next one against Uruguay, and I had to cop a lot of shit for 4 years from my Uruguayan teammates in Spain. So to send Australia to the World Cup and kick them out, I was more than happy.
Yeah, and now over your career, that's spent like a bit of Bruce here, 438 games, 118 goals. That's clearly the best, the most memorable. Is there any goal of your 118 any better than that?
The goal against Japan at the World Cup was probably just as good for me because it was at the World Cup and it was in open play, so no one can ever say that I'm just the penalty king. They can say I can also score goals.
And the World Cup. So you've qualified, you've got there and stuff, so then that's the relief of qualifying. Just tell us about the build-up and then playing in the World Cup.
Well, that was the highlight of my career, was the whole month of the World Cup. you know, the lead up to it, we trained in Holland, and you know, it was just something that you'd been dreaming about, getting prepared for a World Cup game, and you know, our focus was on the Japan game. And then I remember leading up to that week, we ended up going to our hotel in Germany, and we had about 5,000 to 10,000 supporters, Australian supporters, watching our training session, and never experienced something like that before. So our World Cup final was that first game against Japan, and it was amazing. The Aussies really showed that we were the home team over in Germany, even though we were playing away from home. The support there was incredible. If you talk to any Aussie supporter, they'll say it's probably the best experience they've had of their life.
Mm-hmm. And now these days, you're coaching with Melbourne Heart. You've got a youth squad there?
Yeah, got a youth team, also helping out with the first team as one of the assistants, and enjoying that. You know, I couldn't run anymore, so I had to find something else to do, and coaching's the next best thing.
So now these young boys you've got in the squad there, are you teaching them if they get just a minor nick, you know, glancing blow, that they don't go to ground as if they've been shot? Because this was a feature of the World Cup in sides you played against, wasn't it? There were blokes that there was some Academy Award stuff going on all the time.
It is sad. It's not in our culture to do that, no. But you have to understand where some of these players are coming from. You know, the South Americans, they come from absolute slum, and to get out of where they're living, they'll do anything to win. And we experienced it against Uruguay because that's all they've got. And so they don't care if they get called a cheat, you know, or someone that dives, or, you know, they even... you know, will pinch you or do other things I won't repeat to you during a game. You just have to put up with it, because they'll do anything to win. But we're not like that.
The Italians are the worst, aren't they?
Worst at diving, yeah. But that's because they're good at theatre, or they're good actors, so that's probably why they're good divers. It's
part of this tradition that's been going for years in theatre and in sport. Yeah. So now you've got the young kids looking over here. Yep. After any involved with the Australian team anymore?
No involvement at all. I'll follow them as a keen supporter, and hopefully get to next World Cup and watch them play.
All right. How are we going on the sort of world scene?
Well, good. We've since last World Cup, we've had a change of coach. In the Asian Cup, we ended up finishing second. Japan ended up winning. And then we've had some good friendly games. We beat Germany over in Germany after the 4-0 thrashing at last World Cup. I think it was important to get that out of the way, and now hopefully we'll qualify again and do even better next time.
And there's a turnover now, because there's a lot of blokes like you that played for a long time and all, but they're all moving on now. So
yeah, moving on. Mark Schwarzer probably won't move on though. I think he might still make it to the next World Cup. He's that fit and such a good pro. But, you know, you never know. He might be 40 and still playing in the next World Cup. But a lot of the other players have moved on, and we've got some good younger players coming through.
Okay. Well, you've been, from our committee, been voted as participating in the #1 sporting moment of the last 25 years, the time that Sportscover's been in action. Got a favourite sporting memory of your own, outside of your own sport, over the last 25 years?
Look, I have to say, all those moments there, I remember watching most of them. The Shane Warne the game when they played South Africa, I was watching that in my living room back in Adelaide. I think I was the only one up at that stage, and I was jumping around. You know, I love sport, and I follow most sports, and I just enjoy a good game of whatever it is, and enjoy good moments. So you can probably those 25 moments are 25 of my best too.
Well said. And having got the #1 ranking, Peter Nash. Now, apart from getting the traditional bottle of wine that I've been handing out on behalf of Sportscover, there's actually been a trophy struck. This is outstanding, and Peter Nash is here to present the trophy to you, John.
Thanks.
So welcome Peter back. Oh, look at this.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Got the Sportscover sign in the background there, Sparksy, have you?